Hello and welcome to another Betfred Sports video right here in the Quest Media Network studio. Peter, I've not seen you for 2 weeks. How have you been doing?
Yeah, smashing, thanks. There's been a lot happening. The Premier League started and Olympics is over and done with now. Not to be forgotten, of course. We're always great Olympic champions. But we're back in the groove of the football now, in the Premier League in particular.
Been really exciting so far. So just to recap on some of the results at the weekend, it ended Manchester City 5, Norwich City 0. That was, of course, Pep Guardiola's first home game in charge this season with fans back. Firstly, Peter, great to see fans back at the Etihad. Packed out, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We have noticed that a lot of the results are going more or less as they were 2 years ago, with the home side dominated because they've been spurred on by the home crowd.
Yeah.
That was particularly significant for City because they've gone 3 matches before then without scoring a goal and losing 3 on the bounce. So it was on the cards that, and the odds for it were only 12 to 1 for City to win 5-0. So that shows how it was. We thought that was going to happen. They were 1 to 20 to win that game.
Yep, and Jack Grealish on the score sheet. Although to be honest with you, quite fortuitous, bounced off his shin and into the back of the net. But hey, he'll take it, won't he?
Yeah, and he's got big enough shins, hasn't he?
So. Well, his calves are absolutely monstrous, aren't they?
Yeah. So he's going to he was going to always get a goal at some stage, and he is proving kind of a missing piece in that jigsaw for Guardiola in terms of X factor, obviously bringing something a little bit different, and his driving force going forward is starting to make a difference.
Yep, certainly is. So on Sunday at St Mary's Stadium, it ended Southampton 1, Manchester United 1, and then in London at the Emirates Stadium, it was Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2. Firstly, Peter, Lukaku on the score sheet on his Chelsea debut. He's going to be a force this season.
Well, the way he played for Chelsea on Sunday night was absolutely tremendous. I mean, he's a complete and utter class act. He's Gary Neville said in his commentary that he was a perfect centre-forwards performance, and I agree with him with that. He was back to goal is unique. He just holds the defenders off, 2 defenders sometimes. I mean, why they don't work it out that you have one behind and one in front is beyond me, because he can't control it in front as well as hold the defender back. But it was tremendous that, and that has affected the Betfred odds for the top goal scorer in the Premier League. Lukaku, not surprisingly, after 1 goal and 1 assist, is 11 to 4 favourite to be the top goal scorer. In second place is Salah at 9 to 2, and then Harry Kane 5 to 1. Now, Harry Kane's odds will change if he does get that move from Tottenham to City, although City's goals generally are spread out because he doesn't have a natural centre forward. Now Aguero's gone, and even when Aguero was there, he was injured a fair amount in his last season there. So I do think that Harry Kane's odds will change. Fernandes is 7 to 1 to be the top goal scorer. That's on the back of his hat-trick in the opening game against Leeds. United won 5-1.
Yeah, Fernandes this season, you know, you got to think he's going to be up there in terms of goal scoring. Do you think he'll be a force for United this season?
Well, I was disappointed how he reacted after he thought he was fouled in the Southampton game, which led to Southampton's goal. Because I didn't see it as a foul. I thought he was caught on the ball, dilly-dallying around in the wrong position, and you just got to accept that he is going to lose out sometimes. All right, Southampton got stuck into United, but you know that's football, isn't it? It's a man's game, and they really charged into them and caught United out on that occasion, and in many more times during that game. So I wish he'd stop whinging at refs, frankly, because it's getting on my nerves. He wants to concentrate on doing what he does best, which is put the ball in the onion bag. Yep,
absolutely. Harry Maguire, has to be said, off the pace yesterday, you know, really wasn't at the races, and David De Gea bailed him out, didn't he? I mean, I think it was Adam Armstrong had a 1-for-1 goal, forced a great save from De Gea, and had he scored that, United would have left St Mary's with no points, and that would have been a really bad result, wouldn't it?
Well, it would, but you think of the influence of Paul Pogba. I mean, he created 4 of the goals against Leeds in the opening match of the season, and he certainly set up Greenwood beautifully for that equaliser. I think Greenwood's going to be a force to reckon with this season. You can see why United didn't really push the boat out to compete with City for Harry Kane,
Yeah.
because they've got a striker there who some people might think long term is going to be as good as Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still only 19. It's tremendous how we put that away. The Premier League odds have been altered now. City are still 6-5 favourites, but clearly by those odds are not odds on anymore. Chelsea 11-4 second favourites. Liverpool 4-1. Two of those three sides, Chelsea and Liverpool, unbeaten this season. United 7-1. Now Tottenham are the big movers, because they've got 2 results at the start of the season.
Yeah.
They're doing it with only a minimal influence of Harry Kane. I think that Dele Alli's return has affected their performance. They've got a bit of X factor there.
Scored the penalty yesterday, didn't they? Yeah.
And he's going to be out there to prove, hang on a minute, is Jack Grealish that much better than me? Probably not.
Well, I think a lot of these players that were left out of the England squad, like Dele Alli, they've got a point to prove. They want to force a move into that, Gareth Southgate squad for the World Cup next year. So a lot to prove for a lot of players.
Yeah, well, that's exactly the good point, that. And Tottenham have gone from 50-1 to 28-1 to win the Premier League this season. They're the biggest movers. Leicester still in at 50-1. Everton, I mean, they've started okay. They're 100-1 now for the Premier League title.
Do you think the Premier League will be a lot more open this season, as we mentioned earlier on, given crowds are back? Do you think it'll influence results a lot more?
Well, I think that we'll get more of the home results coming in because the home fans will demand better performances from their heroes on the pitch. I think it benefited City last year because they can pass the ball around at will. And that was draining the resources and the energy out of the opposition. And I think City did as well away as they did at home last season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it was like a training pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, they absolutely bossed it last season. Although they did have a rocky start, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They often have a rocky start, City, and come through when the other teams get injuries and the strength of players lose form. And the strength in depth of that City squad is absolutely phenomenal. You'll never forget that.
Yeah.
When you look at the bench at City,
he's got 2 squads.
Yes, he's got 2 teams, effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, don't forget tonight there's another Premier League fixture at the London Stadium. West Ham United taking on Leicester City. Both those teams enter that fixture on the back of victories the weekend before in the opening round of Premier League fixtures. And you can find out all the odds on that game on betfred.com. Peter, let's take a look at some rugby league stuff now. Super League, it's flying, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the Betfred Super League is going one of the most interesting end of seasons we've had for some time now. Battle Royal going on at the top between Catalans and St Helens, with Warrington hanging in there at 3rd place. Wigan drifting a little bit off the pace now. They were absolutely humiliated against St Helens last Friday night, and that was a game when Wigan didn't score a try at the DW Stadium in the history. They failed to score a try for the first time that they've been at DW Stadium. I mean, that was phenomenal. St Helens, they bossed the game 26-2, they won. Showed fantastic discipline under intense pressure from Wigan, the arch enemy to St Helens. Yeah. And they held it together and ran in try after try after try as Wigan kept being punished, rightly so, for lack of discipline in the tackles. It was a real battle, a real arm wrestle, as they say in that game. So this week we've got a relatively straightforward game for St Helens in 2nd place. They're playing Lee Centurions, who actually won for the first time yesterday against Salford. So they're playing Lee Centurions on Thursday night, and Catalans, they're playing Salford on the same night, Thursday. So we can expect victories for the top 2 again on current form, but Salford will be looking to put one back over the champions, or not the champions, the team that are leading the table, having been beaten by Leigh, which must have been quite demoralising for them.
Well, you mentioned Catalans Dragons, French side. They could be joined next season by another French side, because in the Betfred Championship, Toulouse Olympique, they're top of the table, beat Oldham Ruffians yesterday it was, on Sunday, so could be 2 French sides next season.
Yeah, and it's all part of Rugby League's efforts to become more of an international competition and spread the wings a little more away from the M62 corridor, where teams in this area dominate affairs. More to do with Lancashire teams at the moment, with Wigan, St Helens and Warrington dominating ahead of Leeds and the two Hull teams.
Yeah. Dead right. Well, there are loads of fixtures coming up this week, and if you do fancy a punt on any of them, Betfred stores are now open, but you can also bet online and via their app.